And as I said, it's Mayor Day, and today we're talking to our current mayor, Deb Higgins, about things that are happening, because there's a lot of things that are taking place in the city of Moose Jaw that her worship and her council mates are dealing with. So welcome to the show again.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Yeah, and we were just saying, what a good week you've been having.
Oh, it's been
Yeah.
a crazy week for
Grey
Moose Jaw.
Cup.
Grey Cup. We had an overflow from Regina.
Yeah.
Budget was tabled on Monday night, and then we had the additional announcement about TELUS Cup coming to Moose Jaw 2014, and then the announcement that the Scotties Tournament of Hearts
Yeah.
will
So
be
what's
here in
happening
2015.
today? It's early.
Well, put it this way, we're not scrambling to figure out what we're going to talk about. There's
No,
lots out there.
man. Well, first of all, let's just talk a bit about Grey Cup.
Grey Cup.
We had people come to Moose Jaw.
Yep.
Our hotels were full. Our restaurants were full.
It was busy.
And did you go to the game?
No, I didn't. I sat at home in the comfort of my living room to watch it in a nice warm spot. Did you go?
I did.
Oh, good for
I
you.
got to watch it in the coldness of Mosaic Stadium, and it was a wonderful thing to be part of history.
Yeah.
I also went down on Tuesday to the legislature thing, and that was a good thing too.
Well, and you know, the comments both online and in the media, various types, about how well it went and how much fun everybody had, and people sending letters about how great the fans were in Regina. And I know here I've heard of a number of interactions with people from out of province that had come from the game, so it was good. And I think good impression of Saskatchewan in the long run.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Then Monday, council comes up with a 2.25.
2.52.
2.52. Well,
Yeah.
you know, what's a couple hundred
It's just
thousand among
numbers.
friends? Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just numbers at this point.
It's just numbers.
But it's a place to start,
Yep.
and then we'll see where we go from there. What are your thoughts about where we are?
Well, lots of work has gone into this budget that is unusual for the process we normally use. We did 4 planning sessions beforehand, one of those looking at the citizen survey. Strategic planning, we looked at infrastructure, we looked at land and planning so that all of us had a very good grounding in what's needed, where do we need to go from here, and what are our priorities. So when we see the 2.52 come back, that's administration building their business plans and proposals for the new year on a pretty tight budget. We did lose some funding out of the provincial revenue sharing.
Yeah, and that's odd. I don't. Why did that happen?
They did a recalculation of how there are rebates to lower income citizens they receive a PST rebate. So that's the pool where the revenue sharing comes from.
Okay.
And previously the rebates were coming totally out of the province's share of the PST and not out of the 1% dedicated to the municipalities.
Okay.
So what they said this year is we're spreading it across and doing a different calculation. So yeah, we lose some money, that's a 1% hit for us, or
Yeah.
pretty close to 1%. So it made us go back and recalculate a number of things. I think for people, while it may not be a real exciting document to read through, I truly believe it's a real turning point for the city, that we are looking at services differently. We are looking at focusing on our basic services that are delivered to the people of Moose Jaw, and looking at ways to be more efficient and more effective in delivering those services.
And we've talked about the fact that infrastructure is
Yeah.
the main priority, and you're having to make up for 100 years of neglect.
Well, and people have to realize that this is the operating budget. So this covers wages, staffing, the day-to-day bills. You know, it's kind of like when you look at your house and your house budget, you calculate each month what you need to spend. That's what we're doing to keep it running. But that doesn't include, in most cases or many cases, the cost of the house that you're maintaining. What we'll look at next is our capital budget, and that is the cost of the house. So there we'll see money dedicated to infrastructure. We'll see paving, we'll see cast iron pipe replacements and projects.
So we're
the hard
starting off at
costs.
2.52 for the operating, and then there may be an additional one, especially given
Not usually. We
Really?
shifted some money last year from one side to the other, from the operating into capital. But I haven't seen all the details of the capital yet, so we'll see what comes out of that one.
How's our snow removal going to go this year?
Yipes! I was
You know?
looking at some documents last night, and I think we were $1 million overspent over this past
Well,
year.
that's, yeah, but
so
that was a historical year.
it was
the most snow
historical,
ever.
so yeah, it was. So I mean, there's always some flexibility in operating for snow removal, because we know you can
Yeah.
get a winter like last year, or you can have. I mean, in the last few years, we've had winters that there's been hardly any snow.
Yeah.
So there's always flexibility built into snow removal. We'll budget the average amount. But there is. I mean, you won't
Yeah.
just stop when the budget runs out. You can't do that. You
We
can't.
hope you can. Sorry, guys.
No, I know.
Put that truck away.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So, and that was that was an exciting thing that you're getting into budget so early too this year. This is because this is like 3 or 4 months ahead of time.
Well, one of the problems that we've had is we will end up seeing carryover from one budget year to the next. So projects that we have approved and have set the money aside for may not get done because we've been so late in getting our tenders out. And sometimes too, it's that the costs are considerably more than what we budgeted for. What we want to do this year is make sure that our budget is done early so that we can get tenders packaged up appropriately and
Yeah,
out
because some of the things that have happened this year, your tenders
Yeah.
have come in higher than you had anticipated, and you go like, that was like 10 months ago, and now they're
Yeah.
come in, you go,
Yeah. Well, see, and some we've put out, they've been so late in the season or late in the kind of time frame where companies will plan their work for the coming year. So we're coming in later in the process, so they're saying, well, for this amount of money, I could maybe squeeze it in, but, you know, they're
I'm not
squeezing
going
it
out of my
in,
way.
you know, yeah.
yeah. And like the sound system up at the, on South Hill at Playmore.
Yeah, that's Playmore.
And that's something that they put the budget out, and they put the tender out, and the budget,
Yeah.
people came in like,
It was pretty close though. That one was about, I think about $3,500 more than what we had allowed for the tender. But we've seen some major projects of the East Feeder line, which is a main water supply line. It's come in about 3 times what we had allowed for. So we, you know, need to look at the tenders. We need to make sure they're out early so we can get the best possible responses back from companies that do that kind of work. And, you know, everybody's busy in the province. Every city's in the same situation and community. So we're competing with, there's lots of work out there.
so like Ontario.
No. So while you're retired, you should go into infrastructure
I've been
renewal
thinking,
and building.
I'm
You
thinking,
could open a
get them
construction.
plastic pipes. The CVC seems to be the way to go.
Yeah.
And then you had on Tuesday the announcement of the TELUS Cup.
Yeah. It's TELUS Cup is coming to Moose Jaw in April of 2014. So the host committee is busy getting ready for that and finalizing the last of their details. Tickets are on sale online already. So this is the National Canadian Midget Ice Hockey Championships. And as the host, we'll have the Moose Jaw Generals playing.
I know.
So it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We'll be able to go out there and cheer for a Moose Jaw team, and hopefully they have a great tournament.
Yeah, for sure. And Ray Wareham has been building this year to get good
Yeah.
players in to,
Yeah.
and they got a player back from
Yeah.
BC that they hadn't expected to get. So it's looking reasonable.
Well,
Yeah.
you're being kind of cautious.
Well, you know, we're going to put pressure on those guys. But, you know, Saskatchewan is becoming a championship
Yeah.
place after the Grey Cup. And then the next day we get the Scotties
The
announced
Scotties
here.
in town,
And you
that's
were over
exciting.
for that, and-
Yes. Very good crowd,
Yeah.
pretty enthusiastic crowd out for the announcement. And they're busy planning and starting to get all the people lined up. And it's, I mean, what can you say? To be hosting national events
Yeah.
is a real feather in the cap of Moose Jaw. And if it wasn't for Mosaic Place, we wouldn't be able to host some of these events. So it's becoming a real part of our community.
Yeah, well, and that's great. Just like the spin-off effect financially that the Grey Cup had for Regina and the
Yeah.
province is going to happen with the Scotties, because there's going to be people coming here.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
looked at the council documents when we put our support behind the bid from the city. We looked at numbers out of Red Deer when they hosted the Scotties, and they, by their calculations, it was between $8 and $10 million benefit that flowed into the city from hosting the Scotties there. So now, you know, Red Deer's a little bit bigger of a city, but it's going to be substantial, you know, just looking at those kind of numbers. And when you've got people coming in, hey, we beat the attendance numbers at the Canada Cup of Curling.
Yeah.
We set a record, so who knows? The
Well, it'd be
Scotties
nice to have
are
that, yeah.
next in line.
yeah, and Glenn Hagel was saying that, you know, they're going from Montreal to Moose Jaw, you know,
Yeah.
and because we're on that scale, you know, the people recognize that there are people here who can make things happen, and we have facilities to entertain, and
Yeah.
you know, walking distance to all these fine restaurants that are open
Yeah.
in downtown. It's, you know, it's great.
Well, this is a prime example of some of the things that as Moose Jaw residents we kind of take for granted. You know, that you can get at pretty well anywhere in the city in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You hit rush hour, it might take you
12.
12.
Yeah, if the police stop you, it might take you 35.
But you know, you can park your car downtown and you can walk through historic downtown Moose Jaw. Restaurants, all kinds of neat little shops. You're within walking distance of the arena. It just goes on and on. We just know that
Yeah.
because we're from here. But for people that are from other communities, it's unbelievable the amount of comments you get back about what a great downtown we have, what a great community, good restaurants, nice people. It's going to be good.
Well, we're in our last minute already.
Oh, no, already?
Yeah, I know. But thanks for taking time out. You know, you're just in one door and out again. Things are going really well here, and it's been a really good week for the province and for the city, and we're, you know, thankful for that. And so,
Well, we're just working to make sure it continues.
yeah,
That's what we need.
yeah. Okay, that wraps it up for this week. I'm Lyle Johnson. I've been your host of Moose Jaw this week, and we'll hope to see you again soon on Moose Jaw this week.